Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the XP Podcast. My name is Rob, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, starting with Austin. Austin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm great.
I was again just to throw it out there for both of you guys, just to catch it together. You know,
and awkwardly sit here. You go first.
Wait, you go. Okay, I'll go. I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Awesome.
I appreciate you asking. I mean, I don't know how much detail I should go in, but well, this will be released after I put in my 2 weeks, so I can say that I got a job offer. So
there you go.
I'll be changing jobs soon, and I'm very excited. So yeah, I'm good. We're good.
Sykes on you. I'm releasing this right after we're done. So
this is a live stream.
My CEO listens to this podcast. They don't listen to this podcast.
And that other voice that you heard is Adam. Adam, how you doing, man?
I'm okay. Lots of sinus problems right now, but
oh no,
making through it.
Dude, I am I've been finding myself with like, after I got my last COVID shot, I got some side effects from it, which is to be like, that happens. People have been getting them, but I recovered from that by in 2 days, possibly. That's a lie. I actually was kind of under the weather for about the entire weekend. And then I felt good Monday. And then Tuesday came around and I was like, man, my throat, the right side of my throat does not feel good. And so I've been just constantly a lot of tea, a lot of just Sipical and just all that kind of stuff. So other than that, yeah, I've been fine. But hey, you guys are not here to listen to us talk about our sicknesses. I mean, we can if we want to, but this is the XP Podcast, your bi-weekly. Actually, this one's weekly. This is a special. There's something different going on this time, guys. If you haven't noticed, this episode is literally releasing the week after another episode. And the difference is the fact that we're just changing the schedule around because we looked over the schedule, looked over the calendar, and we wanted to make sure that we recorded and things came out not during the holidays. Like episodes will come out during the holidays, but we do not have to record on the holidays. So we thought we'd just shift things up a bit, do an extra episode a week after, and then we'll get back into that new calendar on how that works. So anyways, it will be from here on out your bi-weekly casual gaming podcast where we discuss all things video games and bring topics to the table to discuss for your amusement. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topics, or corrections, let us know in the comment section or reach out to us either on Twitter at ambitiouscasual or email us at xppodcast@ambitiouscasual.com. Utilize the timestamps. Those who are either on the podcast feeds or on YouTube, the time codes are there for you to jump around to the topics that you are probably interested. But Adam, is it not true that if they do skip something, they're really going to be missing out on something really good?
That is absolutely true. How it works. First of all, there's no low point of the show, but if there were, just how the universe works is if they skip the time code, they would be skipping the best part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd say this podcast goes from 0 to 100 immediately, and it maintains 100, if not keeps going higher.
Nothing less.
But the show goes to 11.
That's right.
But it only goes even further beyond. Starting off in regards to our topics for this week, guys, we got a good show. I was a little scared because I was like, we usually have 2 weeks in between episodes and there's always so much that happens, but there's a good amount of stuff that happened between last week's episode and this episode that we could talk about. And I'm really excited because some of these topics are very interesting to discuss on as a whole. So to start everything off, PlayStation 5 beats Nintendo's 33-month Switch streak. This comes straight from Forbes' Paul Tassi. He writes, the news comes today as for the first time, PS5 is the leader both in total dollars sold. It has been for a while, given that it's 100 to 200 more expensive than the Switch. But at the same time, for total units sold, NPD does not give out exact figures, only a ranking order, and PS5 is on top in both metrics. As the NPD's Matt Piscatella notes, this is the first time since September 2018 that any hardware has led the Switch in unit sales, as the last to do so was the PS4 back then. Adam, I want to kick it off to you first. This is pretty big. Switch has been literally king for the longest time. We're constantly hearing, and those who probably don't listen to a lot of video game podcasts, a lot of them do like to go over NPD charts. I believe GameScoop really loves NPD charts in particular. But you always hear Switch is the top, Switch is on top, Switch is on top, and now PlayStation technically regaining the crown back after over 4 years. So how do you feel about all this?
I mean, I think it's natural. How many years? 4 years going on, 4.5, 5 years into the Switch life cycle. At some point, like the saturation on the market's going to hit a high point, and it's like, most people aren't out there buying the launch Switch and then the Switch Lite and then the Switch V2 and then the Switch OLED. I mean, right. The Switch OLED's probably going to get some of like the launch Switch purchasers to buy a second Switch, maybe not. But at the end of the day, it's like it was going to happen at some point. Eventually console sales will slow down. But the fact that Switch held on this long throughout the launch of 2 new consoles to me is still really impressive. Totally. Of course, there's like chip shortages and whatnot. But at the end of the day, pandemic was a great time for Nintendo, especially with Animal Crossing. And then, of course, Mario Kart and Smash were always big crowd pleasers and really pushed a lot of units. So, Switch had a really good run. And PS5, I'm not surprised, is starting to reign.
Totally. Austin, do you have anything that you want to add in regards to 33 months on a streak? The Switch has just been literally selling out, and they're very smart in their tactics. They have that tactic of they have Switches in stock, but they want to make sure that they run out in stores to give off the perception that there's such low stock, so that way they replenish. And again, I'm speaking on this because I've seen articles on this. I don't have an article pulled up to back that up at this second, but hey, that has been a tactic. That has been a tactic that they used before. So, anyways, Austin, do you have anything to say in regards to the PlayStation coming back?
Yeah, I'd say. It is interesting because the PlayStation 5. I feel like it has a much larger barrier to entry than the Nintendo. I mean, it's very, very expensive. And, in my mind, I didn't know there were enough PS5 units to even outsell the Switches. Like in my mind, I'm like, they're not making a ton, but, I guess I'm wrong. I guess they have, people are buying them, even though it seems like they're never available. They just swipe them up real quick. But yeah, I'm surprised, it's so expensive. So and the Switch is, just a couple $100 less. And I think the Switch is also, it seems like Nintendo Switch is everyone's console. Like, seems like a lot of people either have they have a PC or they have PlayStation or they have an Xbox, but all of them are like, oh, but I also have a Switch because it's mobile. It's, so it's surprising to me, honestly, that PS5 surpassed them. And I mean, I'm not surprised. It's an incredible system, and it's groundbreaking technology. So yeah,
can you imagine if the pandemic didn't happen and there was no shortages on chips? Like how much quicker PlayStation would have been to achieve this status? Like it just blows my mind, dude. And to the fact that we're in a pandemic. But man, I don't know if the pandemic and the shortage of those consoles is what's fueling that extra want to get something. Because the moment that you're not able to get something, you want to get it even more. So I don't know if that is kind of working in PlayStation's favor to an extent. I bet you right now they do not like it whatsoever. I'm sure they want all that money right now because I highly doubt they're making much money off of the PlayStation as a whole, anyways. So. It just it's strange, man, and it's crazy to see that they hit that even though we're in a pandemic, like Austin. Like it's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything to say in regards to PlayStation 5 beating Nintendo? Cool. All right, let's move on. We are moving on to Elden Ring has been delayed. This is something, man. And this comes straight by Video Games Chronicles Tom Ivan. This is what they write. Elden Ring will release on February 25th, 2022, as the depth and strategic freedom of the game exceeded initial expectations. Reads a message released on Monday via the game's official Twitter account. Quote, "Thank you for your trust and patience." The article goes on to read, coinciding with the news of the delay, publisher Bandai Namco has also announced plans to host an Elden Ring beta test next month on PlayStation and Xbox consoles. Players hoping to participate in the closed network test can register their interest before November 1st for the chance to do so. And then testing sessions are scheduled to take place from November 12th to the 15th. I have a question here that I want to add, and then we'll kick this to Adam first. February is a packed month, dude, in regards to video games. It is so packed, and it makes you question, is Elden Ring gonna delay again to get out of that month? Or I wonder if something else is gonna get out of there to not get, because if in my opinion, you move out of the way of Elden Ring. Elden Ring doesn't move out of the way for you. And on top of that, February also is hosting Horizon Forbidden West. So a first-party PlayStation game, Elden Ring, which is from Software, is just king at what they do, and everyone loves their stuff. So, Adam, what are your thoughts on the delay, the beta test, and February as a whole?
Yeah, you'd probably have to read off more of the February launch list for me, but
I'll bring it up.
In terms of the Elden Ring delay, I don't know if it's just because they're saying the PR thing that sounds nice, but if they're really delaying it just an extra month because the depth and strategic freedom of the game exceeded initial expectations, that's actually a really exciting delay. I'm like, awesome. This game's going to be like even cool, like more strategic freedom. Yeah, really rings home with me. And so if they need more time to do that, perfect. If they need to delay it again, do it. Like totally good. I'm trying to remember which Nintendo exec is quoted for this, but just like a rush game is forever bad, but a delayed game is eventually good.
Yep.
And so if they want to delay it to make this like polished and perfect, like that's cool with me. I'll take whatever game whenever, as long as it's been finished. I got a big enough backlog already anyway. But I really am excited about the play test. I haven't really ever participated in one of these before, and so I'm signed up for it, and hopefully we'll get in. That'd be really cool. Really, the only other thing close to that, I did the Project Triangle strategy demo. That was open to everyone. So, but in terms of exclusive, like limited access things, this would be the first one if I get in. So we'll see about that.
Yeah. So to read off what we got in February next year so far, what we got is the Life is Strange Remastered Collection coming February 1st. We have Dying Light 2 coming February 4th. We have Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires coming February 15th. Horizon Forbidden West, February 18th. We have Destiny 2 The Witch Queen coming February 22nd. King of Fighters 15, February 22nd. Sifu is on February 22nd. And then we have Elden Ring on February 25th. And Saints Row 2022 coming February 25th. So that's what we got looking for the month of February. Austin, are you interested in Elden Ring? Did you like Dark Souls and all that kind of stuff? And does a delay like this, like, to you, do you feel like this can only mean something good, or what? Like, what's your history with From Software and the Dark Souls games and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I don't have a lot of history with Dark Souls, but I've always wanted to start them, and I've always wanted to play them. The Soulsiest game I've played is one of my favorite games, which is Jedi Fallen Order, and that's Souls-esque. I love that game. Elden Ring looks beautiful so far. Yeah. I mean, it just seems like it's going to be an incredible game. So I'm absolutely going to want to get my hands on it. Ever since Outriders happened, I'm like, can we just not ever rush a game ever again? Like, please just take your time. Just take your time. Like, at this point, I don't care when it released. I just want it to be great. And if you need to take more time on it, please, by all means, do it.
Yeah,
go for it. Take the time. I'm fine. At this point, it's like I feel like so many other games and movies, like everyone's used to delays now. It's like not a shock anymore that like massive movies and massive video games are delayed. So at this point, it's just like, you know what? Just do what you can. I think
Totally.
it's like it's like creators versus corporate. Corporate wants a deadline. Creators are like, do you want a good game or not? You
Exactly.
know? And I think the creators are speaking up, and the corporate starting to learn, okay, we can't just rush these games. We need to listen to the creators more. We need to understand what goes into creating an incredible video game. So I'm all about it, and I'm excited. I should probably prep by playing the Dark Souls games though.
Yeah, I would definitely say you could probably pick up Dark Souls 1 for PC, and they have quite a few like mods, like texture mods and stuff like that to kind of bring it up to speed a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would start with that one. That game can blow your mind. And of course, you got some friendly co-hosts that can give you some spoiler-free guidance when you need it.
There's like some people on TikTok that like will post them like beating a boss and they lose their minds.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like the best thing to watch. So I want to start it.
Dude, it's one of those things where I wish Bloodborne was on PC for you, because I think Bloodborne is more akin to what Elden Ring looks like it will be in regards to combat. That's what I mean. It just looks like the way I feel like it's, because Dark Souls is very slow and it's heavy. Your character feels heavy. Bloodborne, you are much faster. You don't even have a shield in Bloodborne. By everything that I'm seeing in regards to the gameplay for Elden Ring, which, hey, fingers crossed, hopefully Adam and I get into this beta test and then we'll actually have something more to say about that. But
oh my gosh,
it looks like it looks fast. It looks fast like Bloodborne. So I'm hoping in the sense that we get that. And it's the fact that Elden Ring is literally Elden Ring is the culmination of not only Dark Souls, but Bloodborne and Sekiro, because Sekiro had the it had the verticality to it, which you don't have on anything else. So this one is working with verticality. It looks like it's working on speed like Bloodborne. So I'm so excited for this game. Take all the time that you need. Take all the time.
I'm interested like Adam, Rob, have you played Jedi Fallen Order? I don't know.
Not yet.
Yeah, I don't think you have.
I plan to, but I haven't yet.
Well, I found it interesting. Like it's interesting how you can feel the weight of a character. And I'm curious to know, like, how does Cal Kestis feel compared to all of the other titles that we talked about? I guess Adam, since
Adam will be able to do that.
Man, I feel like Cal definitely feels heavier than like Bloodborne would, but he's way lighter than Dark Souls would be.
Got it.
A lot of their games make you, and a lot of those games make you like consider your total equipment load, and it changes how fast you can roll and stuff like that, and move. And so there's some, even going with a light build, I would say Dark Souls is not faster than or lighter than Cal.
Cool. Just curious. Oh, Rob, you're muted.
Yeah. What are you saying, Rob?
Oh, my bad.
Rob's muted.
I was drinking some water and then I forgot to unmute. Moving on to the next story. We got God of War is officially coming to PC. This comes by way of PlayStation blog. Grace or Lady, senior community manager at Sony Santa Monica, writes, and I didn't really write down anything that she wrote in particular. I just grabbed all just the features that is coming to PC regarding God of War. So releasing January 14th, 2022. God of War, as of right now, has sold 19.5 million copies on the PS4. 4K resolution will be on the PC version. Unlocked frame rates, DLSS on RTX integration, NVIDIA Reflex, 21:9 ultra widescreen support, robust controller support regarding the DualShock 4 and the DualSense, keyboard and mouse mapping customizations, and digital content alongside with it, which is going to be the Death's Vow armor sets for Kratos and Atreus, Exile's Guardian shield skin, Buckler of the Forge shield skin, Shining Elven Soul shield skin, and Dolkenscheider shield skin. I believe that's how you say that.
Dolkenschilder.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. I want to start with you because I know Adam and I, we've played God of War, and you focus more so on Stadia and PC. With these kinds of specs that we got right here, because I'm already jealous, dude.
I know.
Does this grab your attention? Are you excited? Are you wanting to jump into God of War now it's on PC?
No, this game looks terrible. I think I'm just gonna stick with the
I
Jedi
thought the same
Fallen
thing.
Order. No, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Ever since God of War came out, I've just been so jealous of the PlayStation owners. I guess since they had released the first Horizon, for PC, this is on my radar. I'm like, all right, God of War, please. And now I'm thinking, Spider-Man. Can they release Spider-Man on PC? Will that be a thing?
Totally.
I'm thinking of all the incredible Sony titles. So I am ecstatic. I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't know if my PC will be able to run this in all these beautiful settings. I mean, I think it might. Like, it's pretty good. Like, the parts I have are like probably 4 or 5 years old. So they probably will be able to run it, but I don't know if it's actually going to look like better than it won't look better than a PS5.
You
don't
be like, need it to look better than a PS5, I don't think.
Yeah. I think it's sick. I love that they're adding ultra wide screen support. They're doing that with Halo Infinite and like a lot of the new. So that'll be really cool. That'll definitely be like a new experience for those who, haven't been able to do that. So I also think it's cool that they're adding in, when they say robust controller support, does that mean that like it's going to have all of the cool features of the PS5 DualShock, or
I don't think so, because they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't add any of the like really advanced stuff for the DualSense on the PS5 patch. So I mean,
PlayStation fanboys would riot if they got DualSense support.
They're already mad. They're already mad that they're putting people are so there's some fanboys that are just they're upset about these ports, and I'm sorry. Like, if they're incredible games and like you have the technology, then why not share them with, I don't know. Yeah, they're upset about it, and I'm excited. I think I'll buy it. I probably will buy it. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. I'm excited to finally play it.
Austin, totally.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, totally keep your eye on it, dude, because you do not need all the fancy smancy like upgrades. Like, if your PC can run it the way that a PS4 Pro was able to run it, I was so blown away by this game on a PS4 Pro. So it's such, the story is unbelievable, and I'm excited. If you got this on PC, would you be playing on mouse and keyboard, or would you do controller, or would you mess with both of them?
I would do controller. I only play shooters on mouse and keyboard, like Overwatch, Call of Duty, those multiplayer twitchy shooters. I'm mouse and keyboard. But for like RPGs, open world, usually like the melee type combat games, third person, like I'm all about the controller life. I probably will play on my Xbox One controller. So that's probably what I'll be playing on for sure.
Nice. Adam, this is big, dude. This is the first PlayStation game as of now, other than Death Stranding in particular, but I don't think it's not necessarily like, people never really counted Death Stranding as it being like a full PlayStation first party game, just because of the fact that they they just helped Kojima come up with his studio. So God of War, it's a big one. We still do not know the release date for Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, which is also coming to PC, which is a weird thing because that's number 4. They're not even starting with 1, 2, and 3 on PC, but that's whatever.
That's weird.
Do you think with this happening, Adam, we got God of War coming, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves coming, do you think it's a matter of time until we see Horizon Zero Dawn on PC? Oh, wait.
It already is.
It already is. Yeah, it already is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So then I guess what I'm trying to say is how much further away past Forbidden West and its initial release date and God of War Ragnarok from its initial release date will we see it on PC? Do you think those are going to be day one on PC?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I'm
Why do you
not.
think
I know
so?
there's kind of a quote I think from Jim Ryan about they want to see their games hit like hundreds of millions in unit
Yeah.
sold, and I
Yeah.
think what did we say? What God of War was just under 20 million
Yeah.
copies. I don't know. I don't think they'll do day and day. I think they still want the actual PlayStation console to be the exclusive, like premium experience.
Yeah.
Will we get them a lot quicker than
3
what
years.
we're doing right now? Yeah, 3 years. I don't know. It's for all the bean counters at Sony to try to predict in terms of like what's the best conversion in terms of dollars and units if we do it at this point in time versus
Totally.
this point in time.
Totally.
I could see like maybe a year afterwards. This kind of like what I think is maybe a safe bet, but
Sure.
maybe not. Maybe it's shorter, maybe it's longer. Who knows?
Makes sense.
I would be maybe more interested in thinking through what IPs are actually going to get ported over. If it's going to be all of them, are we going to get Spider-Man over there? Are we going to get Ratchet and Clank over there? Is Bloodborne eventually going to come? Are they always going to time it around sequels coming out?
Yeah.
Who knows? They could be just doing the top few to really draw the interest into coming over to PlayStation.
Yeah.
But if their goal ultimately is just to get the biggest number of software sales, no matter where it's sold, maybe we'll see a more generous approach.
Yeah, and that's my thing is so Horizon Zero Dawn was released on February 28th, 2017. I'm trying to find this. Where's it at? Okay. Horizon Zero Dawn came to PC on August 7th of 2020 last year. So
yeah.
And August 7th was close to the announcement of Horizon Forbidden West, around the time when the PS5 was completely was shown off and announced. Like we got all those announcements right there and then. So I do agree, Adam, that I think their timing, they're going to start now that they have Nixus and they can start literally getting these games pumping and rolling out on PC. I can picture it being, I agree. I think Ratchet and Clank 2016, thank you. 2016 will come to PC. I think Sony's Marvel Spider-Man will come to PC. And then the only way that they will make Bloodborne come to PC is if there is also a PS5 like up-res for Bloodborne, because they will riot the streets if like Bloodborne gets 60 frames per second before PlayStation does, you know? So they got to do something like that. They got to fix the frame rate. They got to fix the chugging on Bloodborne at times. And then from there, once they set that groundwork, I think we're going to have to just wait and see how they release everything. I think a 1 year difference between all of them is perfect. Like, I think that'd be great. This is 19 million on just PlayStation 4 alone. So I can only imagine how much more they will sell on the PC. And then, they're just going to they're going to try to rebundle it up, sell it to you again on PlayStation 5. So, and then they're on. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited for what strategies they have coming, but I'm overly excited on all this. Next up, we got a trailer that we're going to talk about. Those who are listening, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to see the trailer. Those who are on the YouTube channel watching, the trailer will be playing on the video feed so you can see it. We had the Uncharted trailer. It was officially released today. It was leaked yesterday night, weirdly, and it was only up for like 30 minutes, and I saw the small leak that came out. And that's the problem with seeing, like, I don't know if y'all noticed, when Spider-Man No Way Home was getting rumored, people were leaking the trailer, but it was like 240p resolution.
Yeah.
And so everyone is reacting based off of horrible resolution of a thing. And the same thing went for this one. Like, it was just like 3 seconds of a scene at 480p and it just looked horrible.
Yeah.
And so it leaked a little bit yesterday. The full trailer came out today. And before we discuss our thoughts on the trailer as a whole, this comes by way of PlayStation blog Neil Druckmann, the director of The Last of Us and Uncharted 4, who is also working alongside The Last of Us HBO series. He wrote this, that today we're humbled and incredibly excited to show you the world premiere of the first official trailer for the much anticipated Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, and Antonio Banderas. In a collaboration between Sony Pictures Entertainment, PlayStation Productions, and Naughty Dog, we captured the spirit, spectacle, and heart that Uncharted is known for. Some of you will recognize some of the humor, landmarks, music, and relics. In discussions with the film's director, Ruben Fleischer, who, off of this quote, I'm letting everybody know, he's the director of the Venom movie. Let that sit with you. He shared that he, quote, made the movie for both hardcore fans of the game and those who are not yet familiar with the franchise, and believe that both will be equally entertained by this incredibly fun and action-packed film, end quote. The movie will be released on February 18th, 2022. Before I kick it off to anybody, this movie has been in development hell. It has gone through so many directors be pulling off because just differences and viewpoints on how the movie should be made. They landed with Ruben Fleischer. I don't know if because of him working with Sony doing the Venom movie, and when he was done with that, Sony was like, hey, you're already working with us in production. Let's just throw you some extra couple millions of dollars so you can just come to the next set over across the street and just finish up this Uncharted movie, please. And so nobody has played Uncharted here, correct?
Correct.
I haven't. Have you?
Okay. I played all the Uncharted games. I'm a huge Uncharted fan. That'd be funny if we're talking about this
so
and
not
nobody
no
played
one.
Uncharted. I'm a huge Uncharted fan. I love those games. And I just want to say right off the bat, there's a lot of talk going around the internet about this trailer. And a lot of it is negative. And
yeah,
I can see why people are negative about it. But before I get my full thoughts, I just want to know, you guys who've never played Uncharted, how did the trailer look to you? What did you all think of it? I want to start with Austin. Austin, what did you think of the trailer?
Gosh, what did I think of the trailer? I don't know. It just seemed, I feel like there's just a lot of movies getting pumped out. This just kind of seems just one of those movies. Like,
totally.
Someone said this looks like, it's like a YouTube comment, and they're like, this looks like one of the Rock movies that he does like 5 times a year or whatever.
Totally.
Like,
I can see that.
You know, like it just looks, it doesn't look like there's gonna be a whole lot of substance there. It just looks like we're gonna throw Tom Holland in there, Spider-Man, and you know, it's gonna be it's a franchise that video game lovers love. It's a video game, and you know, who can we play? Who can play Nathan? Okay, well, we can use Tom Holland. You know, he's a big name actor. Now, that is one school of thought, but at the same time, like, I actually really like Tom Holland as an actor. Like, this isn't any discredit to his acting. And even from the trailer alone, I could tell his accent was different. Immediately I was like, this isn't Queen's Peter Parker. This isn't the accent I heard on any of his other movies, but like he kind of had this like Midwestern flair to it. Totally. And again, I haven't played the game. I don't know where Nathan Drake? Is that his name?
Yeah.
God.
Nathan Drake.
I don't know where Nathan Drake is from, but I immediately could tell, okay, like this character is different. You know, this is a different person. But Tom Holland, man, I mean, he looks the same. You know, it's definitely Tom Holland. And so I don't know. I have low expectations for it, to be completely honest. But we'll see. No strong feelings about it. The trailer, if we're isolating the trailer itself, I was intrigued, but I wasn't like, okay, I gotta see this. Like that. That didn't really cross my mind.
Before I kick it to Adam, my thing is, I think something that kind of already put people in a bit of like a, oh my God, like not really excited for the film, was that even Tom Holland himself came out, and even him, he said, I don't think this was my best acting because I just focused too much on trying to look cool. And you're kind of like, Tom, I don't think you're supposed to say that. Like, I'm pretty sure the studio does not want you saying that. Yeah,
he gives up way too much.
He the worst. Adam,
everything.
what did you think of the trailer?
I didn't. Yeah, he does. I didn't have any strong opinions about it. Obviously, the context is I've been hearing about, you know, I don't know, ad nauseum almost. It feels like anyone talking about this movie, it's like why'd they cast Tom Holland? This looks like it's going to be terrible. And so I'm already in with like low expectations, and at the same time not having the context of playing the games. I'm like, this looks like it could be any of number of those summer blockbuster action movies. This isn't, you know, an A24 movie. I'm not going to the Angelica to watch this one or anything like that. And so I would watch it just to see. I don't know if I'd go to the theater to see. Maybe I'd go to the theater to see it if there's nothing else. But or who knows? Maybe there'll be some way to watch it very cheaply. I'm legally, but cheaply. Like wait for it to come to Redbox or Amazon Video Rentals or some kind of Sony rental included with PS Plus. That would be great. So
the way that I feel about this movie is I have a lot of emotions about this. One, when PlayStation first announced PlayStation Productions, the studio that will be converting the PlayStation game studio's IP into movies or TV shows, this was the first thing that was announced. This was the first project that went out. And when PlayStation Productions was put together, the newest game around that time was literally Uncharted 4. Like, it was the big thing. Uncharted is one of PlayStation's biggest IPs. So in theory, it makes sense to start off with that. What's interesting is that we got 2 Naughty Dog projects in the works right now. The Last of Us HBO series and then the Uncharted movie. I am like on a level of 1 to 10, I am at a 20 for Last of Us HBO series. I'm so stoked for that. Adam, you have something to say?
Aren't we getting a Ghosts of Tsushima movie?
Well, yes, but that I was talking to Naughty Dog. But
okay,
yes,
sorry. I missed that part.
We are Ghost of Tsushima by the director of John Wick, which don't even get me started on that, dude. I'm so
That's
excited.
gonna be nuts.
So my thing is, I feel like my viewpoint's a little different now because guys, I have a press play podcast, a movie podcast. I recently just did a review for Bond: No Time to Die. So and literally a day before I watched that movie, I went through all 4 Daniel Craig Bond movies as well. So action. Spy-ish kind of going across the world kind of action is fresh in my mind. And by seeing this, I will have to say this. They'd said from the beginning, this is a young Nathan Drake. This is not Nathan Drake that we know at the beginning of Uncharted 1. This is a younger Nathan Drake. Spoilers, and look, this trailer alone spoils a lot. We see young Nathan Drake in the video games. So this is a thing that happens. I think the only thing that's throwing people off is that there are set pieces in the trailer that are being shown off that happened during all 3 Uncharted games. And so it's kind of like a mixture of like the greatest hits into one. They're not getting everything, but they're getting some of the things. And so it's a little off-putting to see young Nathan Drake be doing the things that older Drake was doing in the video games. And so it's that disconnect that the gamers are trying to make between the game and the movie. Mm-hmm. I have to say, Tom Holland is a great actor. I think his quips that he has in this trailer are awesome. He feels Nathan Drake to me. The only thing that he was missing was the iconic Nathan Drake that's like, no. Like he always does that before something happens. He didn't say that. I'm pretty sure that'll be in the movie. But
for sure. The
other thing that people are kind of caught up on is the fact that Mark Wahlberg is playing Sully. Sully is a more thick mustache, always has a cigar in the mouth, drinking whiskey. And I love Sully. That character is so iconic. And am I sad that they got Mark Wahlberg just at face value? Yes. You don't look like Sully. But there's a catch. Not yet. Now, I know people have been posting pictures of Bryan Cranston as Sully. That'd be like A1, like perfect casting. But my thing is, look, I know for a fact, and there was actually a leaked photo of Mark Wahlberg with the mustache for the movie. So everyone's young right now. We have young Nathan Drake. We have a young Sully. They're starting off. All of them are starting off on this brand new story together. They are doing some things that happen in the game, but they're just trying to start off brand new with an action flick. And I think with this being the first product that PlayStation was going to make, they had to play it safe. They had to make sure that they made their money off of it. And what's something that everyone's going to go watch is an action flick, practically like National Treasure, but with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I think it's a safe bet. What I'm more excited about is what the second movie would be. Because I hope this one does really well. And then they're like, okay, we got something here, and let's make the second one more serious and a lot more better, because this one's been in hell for a while, in development hell. So I'm excited for the series. I'm excited for this movie, and not necessarily excited because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the best movie in the world. I'm just excited because this is the first PlayStation IP that we're seeing coming to the big screen, and I want to see what they can do with it. And I hope it's good, not great or amazing. I just hope it's good, and that's all I'm looking for. So that is my whole spiel regarding the Uncharted trailer. This is actually really interesting. Austin, you threw this to us in Slack, and so put it on your last minute, and it seems this is a very interesting story, man. So I'm going to start it off, and we'll kick it to you. AT&T, Stadia, and cloud gaming ambitions. This comes from 9 to 5 Google, Kyle Bradshaw. This is a long article, guys. So I'm going to read some of it, and then we will jump off into just talk about what we think, okay? AT&T, working with Warner Bros., launched a new streaming experience on Wednesday, which let AT&T wireless customers play Batman Arkham Knight in full from their browser. While Stadia was not mentioned by name anywhere on the page, it was immediately clear to anyone who had played from Stadia's web app that this was powered by Stadia. An AT&T representative confirmed to 9 to 5 Google that the Batman Arkham Knight demo, officially a, quote, gaming experience brought to you by the AT&T network, end quote, is indeed running on AT&T's streaming technology. Here's what the representative said. This is being powered by the Stadia technology. For this demo, AT&T created a front-end experience to enable gamers to play Batman Arkham Knight directly from their own website, and the game is playable on virtually any computer or laptop, end quote. Before I continue any further, there's a part, this was at the very beginning of the article, I cut it out. This is practically called white labeling, to where you are utilizing someone's service, but putting your code of paint on top of it, and they're just kind of running the back end. But it's like Android. Android does that all the time. So continuing on, when asked about whether more games would be coming to AT&T streaming experience or if non-AT&T customers would be able to join the fun at any point, the company had no future plans to share. That said, AT&T does seem to have grander ambitions for cloud gaming as part of the, quote, next era of gaming. This is what they have to say. AT&T is collaborating with gaming technologists like Google to help usher in the next era of gaming, making access easier for consumers and allowing content to travel and reach more fans, all enabled by streaming and network technologies. And then there was an update an hour later that AT&T has also confirmed that the version of Batman Arkham Knight that AT&T is offering is running on Linux under the hood, just like every other game that runs on Google Stadia today. Just as Batman Arkham Knight is not available for Stadia players today, the game has also not previously been ported to Linux. Austin, I'm going to kick it to you, dude. This is the Stadia corner. So, kicking it to Austin. What this is some interesting stuff, dude. What do you take on this thing? Because I think everyone has thought Stadia, just as a whole, that is the product. It seemed like it was kind of going in a bad direction because they laid off all their first party studios. But it seems like they have a different tactic in mind. What's your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, and this is foreshadowed. This was foreshadowed when Stadia shut down their main studio. They said that they were going to shift their talents sort of in a different direction in being a cloud gaming service, and solely being that sort of third-party service to others in the future eventually. And this is, I believe, the first instance of that, which is crazy to think. I mean, like, to think that AT&T has a video game, like it's very weird, and it definitely like shakes up the whole structure that is gaming. We're just so used to having the big head honchos, the Microsoft, Sony, and then of course PC. That's where we've been at for a very long time. And this whole concept of cloud gaming is just sort of slowly on the rise. And it's just really interesting to watch. I wasn't able to play Arkham Knight on the AT&T website, unfortunately, but all the reports I saw were like, yeah, this is basically like Stadia. So I I don't think this is like, as far as what does this mean for the future, at least for the near future, I don't see AT&T being like, okay, now we have all these games coming in 2022 that you can play that are, we have hundreds of titles. I see this being a really slow growth in different, wireless services. And like, is it just going to be AT&T, or is Verizon and T-Mobile going to be like, yeah, you can pay your monthly phone plan, and included you'll have access to our games library. I don't know. If it ever does come to that, I still don't see them having brand new AAA titles coming to their platforms. Totally. On release. Like, I think, Stadia and cloud gaming services, they are getting big titles, and there are a few exceptions, like Far Cry 6 and Resident Evil Village. On release, those games were given to Stadia, but I think as a whole, a lot of what cloud gaming is going to be are titles that were released on, the big platforms years ago, and they're just now kind of getting those IPs. So I don't know, maybe I'm rambling, but I think it's just weird. I can't fully wrap my head around this, to be honest, because
it is interesting.
I just I don't like, so AT&T's doing this. They're gonna continue to do this. Maybe what does this mean for other wireless companies? Like, and then it's like, how many different? We're gonna have like hundreds of different ways to play video games.
It's
we're gonna
a little
have
scary.
It's weird, and it's intimidating. It's like, you're gonna have access to games through your wireless phone network. Like, what? I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it, to be honest. But it's still really cool. I mean, good for Stadia. They're going to be making a ton of money if they continue to, white label themselves and run other companies' games. So,
yeah,
run Nintendo's games, please. All the cloud versions, please run those.
Please, Nintendo, please get with Google. Just use their software. It's okay. Use their hardware. It's all right. Like,
that's the interesting thing about this, is the fact that, I mean, what happened with cable television? Everyone left and started creating their own streaming services. And now that AT&T, they were literally just trying to sell all their gaming stuff, and they held on to it. Now they're making these experiences. Warner Bros. Owns a lot of big video games. They own Lord of the Rings IP for video games. They own Batman video games. They own the I totally forgot another one. There was a big one that was on top of my head, but I totally forgot it. They own a lot of big IP. And so what this scares me is the fact that, okay, does that mean all the Batman Arkham games and any Batman games from here on out, is it possible for AT&T to be like, hey, these are only coming on our service? So PlayStation, not PlayStation, Game Pass can never have these games. But this has also been happening. We know that PlayStation is utilizing Microsoft's streaming service in the back end to start building up whatever PlayStation has coming in the future. That's been announced. And so whatever that Game Pass is working on, whatever xCloud is working on, PlayStation is also working on that in the back end too. So these kinds of things do happen, but this is so interesting. This is so weird because of the fact that it's a player that we would have never even guessed would even start joining this thing. And so then it's going to be like all these random games that, like, I'm sure some companies have one hit and randomly and unfortunately it's going to be possibly stuck on this horrible service that you can only get to on that end. Will they do that? I don't think so. Not right away, but it very easily can start getting to that direction. Adam, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I'm with you on the possible splintering of like the streaming market. I think there's some really weird stuff that can happen. We've already seen random companies deciding to buy game studios. I feel I'm not yes. I can't like recall a ton off the top of my head, but what if like because of this, Verizon's like, we bought Gearbox, and so Borderlands, streaming exclusively for like Verizon customers, Verizon wireless customers, and it's like that stuff is just so weird and so anti-gamer and anti consumer that it is to me. That's what I think. It's such a bad sign we're going like I feel like going in such a positive place. Like the Google part of it is really cool, and I think that is very nice to be like Google. Like you have the infrastructure. If you can make your streaming like technology the best versus anyone else, and then just act as a support company in that fashion to the other publishers or hardware owners that are hardware manufacturers that want to run streaming games, then that's awesome. But this is just some of the same nonsense that I feel like has gone with the with all the streaming apps like Paramount Plus, and I'm just like, that's a little too far. Like we bought into Peacock only because we love all the NBC comedies, but it's just like anything past that, and it's just so obnoxious. But it's just going to make it. Oh, I mean, hopefully it would never affect actual like game sales. Like you could still like, hopefully they'll still publish their games for all the platforms and whatnot. Yeah. But if we ever see a day where that stops happening, then I'd go back in time. If I could go back in time, I'd go back to this moment and like just I don't know, block somehow this decision from being made. Because this feels like a first domino.
Totally,
in a lot of ways.
It feels weird.
I think what's interesting about all of this, though, is, and again, I don't understand how all the deals and agreements happen in the back end. I don't understand all of that. This is good for Google. Like they find themselves in a great position. They can become the Android to cloud streaming games. Like this is a great position that they put themselves in. Now, what's interesting is, I mean, could AT&T have done something like, hey, if you are a member of AT&T, well, then you have access to Google Stadia. Like that could have been. Like again, I don't even know how all that works, but I just don't want this. I don't want this, dude, because we just know that this is not how we want it. Like I'm okay with certain exclusives. Like I'm okay with what the teams that PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo have already been building up for the past who knows how many decades. They're exclusives. Things start to suck a bit whenever. And these are like, this is not going to happen, but this is just an example. Like if PlayStation bought Square Enix and it was like everything Final Fantasy, everything under the Square Enix bubble is only PlayStation. That sucks for everybody who loves Square Enix that was not on PlayStation. Because now you're like, I've been used to getting these games on my Xbox and now all of a sudden they're getting stripped away from me. That's when that sucks. So I'm just hoping this is just some weird incentive to only just have this be just a momentary thing as a cloud thing, but the games will always be coming to other platforms as well. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, guys. We'll see. All right. Well, let's move on to what have we been playing. And let's see, we're at 52. And Austin, I looked at your notes. You haven't played much at all. You've been a busy man. Do not worry.
I have not. I mean, granted, we've had a week between these two episodes, so
yeah.
So less time, but I honestly no, I haven't really been playing. I didn't get a chance to really sit down and dedicate more than like 20 minutes to a video game, and if I did, it was Jedi Fallen Order. Sorry. Listen, this has been a stressful couple of weeks. Jedi Fallen Order, stress reliever.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm almost done with it. I am in the final sort of Inquisitor base, playing on Jedi Master. So the second to hardest difficulty. And it's tough. It's a tough game, but I'm enjoying it. And I love being a Jedi and having a lightsaber and fighting stormtroopers with the music. It's serotonin. It is a serotonin boost for me. So
those blaster noises, man, they hit.
They hit hard. So yeah, I've been loving that. But no, that's really about it.
Adam, why don't I kick it out to you? What have you been playing?
Okay, I made it a little bit further in Death Stranding. It still hasn't hooked me.
Okay, so Adam messaged me at the beginning of this week, and he was like, "Hey, what's a good point where you're like, this game's not for me?" And I was like, "Oh no!" So I was man, honestly, if you're at that point, I would just end it. But my opinion was like, get to this certain point, and then if it doesn't click for you up to that point, it's really not for you whatsoever. So, Adam, what kind of progress have you made so far?
Where have I gotten? I haven't made it super far. I'm still making my way over to the West Coast, and I don't think I've even made it to like the next big city after Capital Knot City.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think this game is kind of going to be more of a slow burn for me. There is still something to it that I enjoy and I think is really cool, but it's kind of like it needs to be like a palate cleanser almost. And so I'm probably just going to be playing it like for a session here, a session there, just when I have time to kind of like unwind, put, the headset on and really kind of like let the chill, delivery man sim kind of take me where I need it to take me. What do you okay, but I do have some and it's actually really funny when I compare it to the other game. I guess kind of picked back up. I had and kind of compare it, but Horizon Zero Dawn has been the thing I've really started rocking.
Nice.
And I don't know if this is terrible to say, but of all the Sony first party, like second party games I've played this year, I think this is the worst one.
Whoa.
Now that's heavy competition because we're talking about. I'm not evaluating Death Stranding in that yet because I'm so early on.
Okay,
but it is like up against God of War, Spider-Man,
totally.
Kena, and Ghost of Tsushima. Am I comparing against Astros? I don't know. That's kind of its own thing. And there's just, I love the gameplay. I love the setting. I think all that stuff is great. This is a really cool game, but there are a lot of elements of it that are really clunky. And it actually kind of reminds me a lot of The Witcher 3, just in the fact of like it kind of, or for me at least, The Witcher 3 kind of accepts that there's a lot of these like rough edges. And it's like, this is just what comes with having such a massive, long open world game where you could literally like have hundreds of quests and talk to any of these people. But the really jarring thing that I've kind of been spoiled with, I think, with other games is like how it transitions in and out of dialogue, and it's really, and that part of it
is very,
that part of it is really rough. It's really rough. There was like a conversation that, Aloy was having with this other like hunter person who like had a huge scar on the side of their face. And it was like, so it's like this back and forth dialogue. And I'll say the dialogue options are often kind of clunky and it feels weird connecting them sometimes. But like they're visually, it's so good. And then it like suddenly just jars me out and cuts. And then I'm looking like directly at this NPC in such a lower resolution. And it's like their scar, which was like so well, like displayed and rendered, is then it's like so low quality. I'm just like, oh gosh.
Wow.
But like I said, the gameplay is wonderful. I think it's really good. I think that there's a lot that hopefully they improve on for Forbidden West. That could, like to me, with the things I have wrong with it and the things I love, it's like I feel like Forbidden West could be like a 10 out of 10 game. If they can fix all this stuff. Just because the core of what the game is, the core of what they have is so good that if they can just kind of polish out all these rough edges and make things flow a lot better, then, they would have, a 10 out of 10 game for me on their hands. And so it's like, I'm going to keep playing this. I am enjoying playing it quite a bit. It is a really good game. It just doesn't have like the level of polish that like a lot of these other first party PlayStation games have in my mind. And so I'm excited to see if they like nail that with Forbidden West.
Totally.
Oh,
Well,
the thing I was going to get.
Go.
The movement in the game is so clunky and just like going over and around stuff, and like a lot of it is just like not realistic. So like the whole part of navigating the world at as Sam Porter in Death Stranding is so on point, and it's so good. I'm like, yeah, this is so good. Like having to be like so into it, and it's so realistic in terms of like navigating and like managing like your pathing and your weight and stuff. And then it's like, oh, Aloy can only grab onto stuff that's yellow, and there's like a rock in front of her that's waist high, and she can't jump onto that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's what's even funny is the fact that both games are on the same engine. So
yeah,
it's I Horizon Zero Dawn is like a 9 out of 10 for me, and the one extra point is exactly what you said. It's the dialogue at times. It is those weird in between conversations that you have where it's like a camera just shows them, and then it comes to Aloy and she's just standing there, and then goes to the other person that's just standing there. It's a little awkward, but overall, I'm extremely excited for Forbidden West. I still haven't even played Frozen Wilds, so I unfortunately need to go back and beat that DLC. So hopefully I can kind of get back into the groove of it. I've been playing Death Stranding as well. Still enjoying it. Still loving it. I'm noticing in the place where I'm at, most definitely, I feel like I've said this for the past 2 shows, they most definitely added a lot of content. Like I'm in a place where I know for a fact I was just supposed to go from this point to another point and then come back. And then Dead Man is like, all right, go meet this guy. And then I just go to that guy, but not this time around. Like something happens to where Dead Man needs to take the BB. And so you are without the BB and this don't ask questions. And you're with the BB. So you're moving around without it. But the thing is, he's like, okay, you need to do a couple of missions before you can get it back. And so I'm doing like these 5 different missions and I'm like, I did not have to do this last time. And I'm literally getting to the point where I left off when I was last playing it. So it's kind of nice that there's these new missions that are just spliced in because 1, you're getting some newer stories with these characters. And 2, you're traversing even more and more of the land that I've never had before. So it's nice. I'm finally getting it. I'm actually at the exact point where I left off last time when I played this game. So everything from here on out is brand new to me and I'm stoked. I'm so stoked. And then
awesome.
lastly for me is I've been playing Magic the Gathering on iOS. I think I'm such, and I don't know if a lot of people know this about me. I love trading cards. Like I love Pokemon cards. I love Magic the Gathering cards. I even had like Force of Will cards. Like I like that kind of stuff a lot. I just don't play with much people. And I think Hearthstone was the best digital card game at its time. I'm not saying Hearthstone's the best at all, but in regards to digital card game, it was so good. And you can tell that they really cared about it. But since then, I know when Hearthstone came out, I know that Pokemon tried doing something online, which was complete garbage. I know Magic the Gathering, literally with each new season that came out, they came out with a brand new app for each new season. And it was all just clunky as heck. And finally, Magic the Gathering has their official Magic the Gathering arena to where you go in. I just finished all the introductions and that kind of stuff. I know how to play Magic the Gathering. I just need to get freshened back up again. So I'm finally done with all that. I'm into the actual game. It's actually really nice. There's voiceover. There's actual sound effects. There's actual some visual effects. So play this on your iPad. Play this on your phone. I'm really stoked about it. And so I'm getting back into it. And the reason why I'm getting back into it is because Pokemon is also releasing a bigger upgrade to their Pokemon TCG, which is finally coming to iOS as a way to play online like Hearthstone for Pokemon TCG. Okay. And I will be all over that when that happens. So extremely excited. All right. That's awesome. That is it. Thank you guys for listening and watching to the XP podcast level 21. If you are listening on a podcast service, well, make sure that you rate that podcast on whatever service that you are using. I want to let those know. This podcast is going through Anchor. Anchor is in partnership with Spotify. And due to that, I'm able to add a question on Spotify. So this week's question, I want everyone to know, and I want everyone's thoughts. what did y'all think of that Uncharted movie trailer? When you use and listen to this show on Spotify, when you have the thumbnail up, just swipe up, and then literally the question will be right there. You can answer the question right there, all through Spotify. So make sure you guys answer that. And those who are on the video forums on YouTube, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button and subscribe and comment down below. What are your thoughts on any of the stories that we went over today? As a matter of fact, also Anchor is introducing video. So this video podcast will soon be coming to Spotify as well, once all that starts rolling out very soon. So we'll get to that point soon. I'm hoping sooner than later. And then, and lastly, my socials, Austin's socials, Adam's socials, all our social security numbers will be in the summary notes down below. Use them as you will and as you please. And
just wreck me. Just wreck my identity.
And for those who are interested, I have a movie podcast called Press Play that I do with another co-host of mine, Michael. We review movies. At the time of this recording, we reviewed Bond, No Time to Die. So if you're interested, go check that out. Austin, Adam, thank you for joining me today. And for everyone out there, until next time, keep gaming. Peace out.